On this episode of Blending Bourbon, Dixon and I discuss perception versus reality behind being the face of a bourbon brand.
Blending Bourbon is the podcast that takes you beyond the barrel and behind the scenes of the whiskey industry with master blenders Dixon Dedman and David Mark Young.
Welcome back to another episode of Blending Bourbon. I am Dixon Dedman of 2XO Whiskey, joined by what Vogue magazine has referred to as a cross between Justin Timberlake and a water buffalo, the master blender and owner of Golden Sheaf, the pride of Omaha, David Mark Young. Good day to you, sir.
Good day, Dixon Dedman. Good to see your face, as always. Thanks for that colorful introduction. I love it. That's always...
I don't know where that one came from.
These are the best ways to start, enjoy, and end my day. I actually record these. Myron sends them over in little snippets, and every time you call me, my phone, the introduction rings. That's why it takes me so long to answer the phone. I like to hear that.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Myron, how are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm good. How are you? It's a wonderful Thursday morning here in Omaha, and last episode had been a while since I've got to see you guys, but it was I look forward to these every single time, so it's great to be once again back-to-back recordings with you guys. It's turning into a rarity anymore, just based off of how busy everyone's been.
Yeah, we made one. Yeah. It's hopping. I'm off starting next week through. Now it sounds like the week before Christmas. So
it's a little bit of travel.
It's a lot.
Little bit of travel.
Solid 6 weeks on the road.
Par for the course.
6 weeks on the road. But I'm getting miles. I'm getting miles out of it.
That's good.
And that's.
This time last year, you were training for the New York Marathon. Have you've been keeping up with your running?
No, I have not. I'm running, but not that training thing. It's funny. I didn't realize how many people kind of know or knew about that, and just like randomly meet people and they're like, so are you training for any more marathons? And it's like, that is, I don't see how you did it 78 times or how many times you did it, but I tell you, there's you can train or you can travel, but training and travel like I tried to do last year sucked.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's a lifestyle, and sometimes it's just impossible. You have young children and life outside of that. I was in kind of a different season of life where I was working a lot, traveling a lot, and then was able to train a lot even while I was traveling. I think I told you that story. I got stuck in Detroit overnight and had like 13 miles to do that day, and I ended up running in the underground walkways, with all the lights. It was pretty awesome. Crazy.
I woke up one morning in I don't know where it was, Houston, and I had my running gear on. I walked downstairs. It's like 6 o'clock, and I went to the front desk, and I was like, all right, I've got to do 12 miles this morning. Should I go? Is it best to go 6 miles that way and 6 miles back, or can you help me figure this out? And the lady's like, oh no, honey, you're not. She said, you can go about a mile that way and a mile back, and you can do that 6 times or however many times. She was like, but you get any further than that, we'll never see you again. And I was like, what do you mean by that? She said, my best advice to you is get on that elevator, go to the 6th floor. That's where the treadmills are. And I was like, okay. You go bang out 12 miles, and then the car's there to get you at 9 o'clock, and we go to the first stop, and you're tasting and all this stuff, and after that's over, it's like, hey, I'm gonna need to go get a biscuit or something because I'm on 12 miles and a few bottles of water, and I'm a little boozy right now. It's like this.
Yeah, that's a you're inspiring me now, and now I'm getting the itch. I need to get out and go for some runs. I try to run. It's just it's a challenge. It's a challenge being busy. You know, you got to prioritize.
I'll run 2, 3, sometimes more like 4 days a week, but not the mileage that I would need to qualify. That was fun. I did it twice. I'm taking some time off, but
well, let's challenge ourselves. Like, let's throw out a challenge next year. Let's all qualify see if we could all qualify for the Boston.
Nope, not gonna happen. I'll never qualify for Boston. I'm not capable of moving that fast for the qualification.
My buddy qualified for Boston. He's an amazing runner. We run together a lot. He's amazing. He qualified last year in Chicago, 3:06. Got into Boston.
That's incredible.
And then because they canceled the one during COVID, they had too many entries. So he thought he was all in. He was gonna run it in March of this year. We were all going up to support him. Just got a note. Sorry, you're out. I mean, that qualifying for Boston sub 3:10 and in my age group, I'd die.
Yeah. I'm like a slow moving tank. I mean, you can't stop me when I'm going, but I'm not breaking any land speed records.
You are full of really kind of strange visuals today. It's kind of creeping me out a little bit.
Slow moving tank. You called me a water buffalo.
You can't stop me. But,
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go over all terrains, crash through crowds. Yeah, but I'm not getting there anytime fast. Yeah.
So Bear, I have this thing. I was when I was thinking about what we were gonna talk about today.
We weren't going to talk about marathons.
It's all kind of came to me
for an hour.
Last night, and it's just kind of funny, or maybe it's not funny, and it's going to sound strange. And I'm not trying to be obnoxious or anything along those lines, but I have, and it's very interesting. I've been reading this book, the Elon Musk book, the book about Elon Musk, and it's the same author that did the Steve Jobs book, and he's done a few other ones, and it's very interesting to kind of learn about like these people's lives and who they are and what makes them tick and how they how they go about, I don't know. I mean, and I don't care to admit this. On my last trip, I started watching the Netflix series about David Beckham.
Oh yeah,
and and it's like you just think about these celebrity people, right? Like the Elon Musk, the David Beckhams, the whatever, and I don't even think of them as real people. They're just like. I can't fathom what their lives are like. I can't I mean, you just kind of assume that they don't do anything for themselves except just go around and be rich and famous. Like they don't interact with people. They don't have real, like they're not real. They're just things you see on TV, or whatever. And I'm thinking about all this. And at the same time, as an example, this week my wife is out of town. So I'm not traveling. I am home. And I am the single parent to my 3 children. And I give my wife all the credit in the world for how she handles this stuff. And it is wash, rinse, repeat. It is like make lunches. Wake the kids up, feed them breakfast, take them to school, clean up the kitchen, start laundry, pick up the same shit I picked up yesterday, put it back where it goes. Like, unload the dishwasher, fold laundry, put away laundry, pick up kids, give them a snack, pick up shit, fix dinner, put them to bed, another load of laundry, clean up the kitchen, same freaking pots and pans I put away last night, put them away again, and I mean, but, and I'm like, I'm vacuuming the house and I'm trying to do all this stuff so my wife doesn't come up and kill me. At the same time, as just as an example, I'm sitting there thumbing through Instagram and this guy sends me a note and he was like, Mr. Deadman, I would love it if I could, my group of friends, we get together every week, and if I would, do you have any swag? Do you have anything that I could buy from you, that I could show up? I'll be the envy of all my friends if I could say that I've got something, and I would be most appreciative. I'll pay anything. I'll do, what? And I'm just like, yeah, dude, send me your address. I send him a hat. Write a note. Here's a hat. Thanks. Cool.
Here's a hat.
I get a note back and it's just like, this is my most treasured possession. I can't believe you actually answer your own Instagram and took the time to box this up and send it to me. And the handwritten note means more to me than anything in the world. And I'm just like, whoa, and then I get this text message that has a link to this article, and it mentions, it's talking about different stuff. And there's a couple things out there right now and with what we're doing. And I read this stuff and I'm like, who are they talking about? Who is this person? Who is this guy that got so excited about a hat? Like, do you understand that I'm, like, it sounds, I'm listening to a book about a famous person while I'm emptying the trash cans in my kids' bathrooms and making beds and all this. And it's just funny to me, like, that you get this, I go to go to stuff and it's like, wait, no, I'm like, we're just dudes. Like, I get to do something cool, like make whiskey, but I'm it's crazy how I don't know. It's some people are just like, they're just taken aback when they realize that you're a real person and that that you're not, and I'm taken aback the way sometimes I'm mentioned or people talk about what I'm doing as if it's, it's just crazy. It's
all relative.
It's just been a weird day yesterday with a lot of this stuff came out, and I was just like, who are they talking about? Because I'm pretty sure that, like, I'm picking up dirty underwear around my house right now. You know what I mean?
Perception's reality, right? You've got the perception, David Beckham, Elon Musk, do you not think that they pick up dirty underwear and they...
No, I don't.
No?
I don't.
Well,
and I'm sure they do, but I don't think
Yeah.
of them that way. And it's funny when people think, you get... And I'm not saying that me, you, Myron, we're on any level like those people, but...
maybe
I
Myron.
don't know, when it may be Myron. That's true.
But it's, that goes back to, and this is something that I've learned later on in life is, you hear all these old adages, and one that comes to mind in particular is, that person puts their pants on one leg at a time, just like we do. And, I used to hear that and it never really resonated with me. And now it does. It absolutely does, because I always used to put people, and still do, put people up on a pedestal because of my perception and what you see. And, but really at the end of the day, and I mean, I know you're Dixon Deadman, and I know, there's articles written about you, and they're working on that movie about you. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just bought my Dixon Deadman Halloween costume. And, but, at the end of the day, even the most elite, wealthiest, successful humans are humans. That's just it. They've got emotions and they've got their things that they deal with.
Well, let me take this a step further because I feel like I just made this like about being some sort of celebrity, and that's not what I intended
I'm just
to do.
giving you shit. That's my job here, Dixon.
I know. yes, it is, Mr. Tank Man. Where I was going with this, trying to go with this, is this article, which is a cool article, but and there's another one that was done like this, and it's kind of about how people have seen and realized some success with big brands and made a name for themselves or whatever, and then are leaving to pursue new ventures, smaller ventures, craft stuff, startup stuff. And I was just mentioned, it wasn't about me. It was,
right,
I was just,
right.
but what
That's a good article.
I read it and I'm like, yeah, I get where the story's coming from. Makes sense. It's happening. And then I also think it's people that, have another itch to scratch. Like it's people that and the thing is almost like that. And this is not the article, but there's one way to look at it where it's like, are they saying why would these people leave these cushy jobs where they're, at the top of, they're the face of something and they got, and why they're on a gravy train with biscuit wheels. Why would they leave this to go do, do something else? And it's like, because we all, there are times when, you work at whatever your craft or whatever your job or whatever, and you say, you know what, I need a new challenge. I need, I want to go, I've got an itch to scratch just like everybody else. And my itch may be in creating a new brand, and somebody's itch may be in, opening a new restaurant or, pursuing a different career path or whatever. It's just, I think whether you're David Beckham or David Mark Young, you're like, we're all just dudes. We're all just people trying to pursue what interests us and I think forget sometimes that like we're, people are, even, I don't know. People we all put our pants on the same way.
We all put our pants on the same way.
Even if we're a tank.
Everybody poops. Have you ever, and by the way, Martin, if you can get David Beckham on here, that would be fantastic. If we could have a conversation.
I'll work on it.
Okay. Have you ever had one of those days where you're doing what you do and then you kind of think like, where does this go? Do I do this every day? Do I, make whiskey? Okay. Roll out. Some people have goals. They have objectives, 5-year plans, 10-year plans, whatever. I want to do this. I want to build this. But then beyond that, it's, I've thought about a lot recently. Okay. We've put out 9 expressions and working on bourbon batch 4 and rye batch 3 and, all these next blends. And then I was kind of thinking like, at what point does it stop? Is this what I do forever? At what point is that enough to build something, if that's what you're doing, in fact? And, it just kind of opened my eyes to, not just the company and the brand, but me doing what I do. And as I do what I do, I also learn more about myself and what satisfies me and what I want to do. And there's, just things that change dynamic, companies get acquired, they, whatever, there's change. But then, some folks are comfortable in punch the clock and do the same thing every day, and that's okay. And then some people need to pull the thread, and they're more of an opportunist, or they just strive toward bigger and more. And so anyway, that's one of the things I've been thinking of is the future.
Yeah, I think for me, I would probably say I'm more of a creative than so that's the beauty, I think, of what we've created or established with my team and the guys that I work with, is that they're they've kind of set the goals for what we're doing. They've kind of created the benchmarks that we're trying, where we're trying to go. And it's my job to say, okay, then to get there, I really want to do this, and I want to make it look like this, or I want this is how I want to get there. These are, and I think it's like every day, every single morning, I get an email that's, depletions. This is how many cases there, this is the, every day. And these guys look forward to that every morning. They're like, oh, right. Who's doing well? What's the, and I'm like, that's great. That's fantastic. But I don't, I'm like, I'm ready to create the next thing. I'm ready to go spend time with people. I'm ready to get out there and talk. I'm ready to meet people. I'm ready to hang. I'm ready, I don't know. I just, it's, there's like the analytics and the,
counting the beans,
whatever. And I'm more of the like, great. What are we gonna do next? What's the next? Where are we going next? What are we doing next? What's this?
But as the guy that wore all the hats in the hospitality business, you probably had some things that you enjoyed about that. But there were
100%.
There were the other things that you had to do.
Well, that was the part about that the hospitality business, the being hospitable part. That's the part I loved. The walking around the restaurants and talking to tables and greeting guests as they come in and trying to figure out how to wow them with their experience and making sure every plate look, the people part, the engagement part, that's the part that I loved. The Mondays when I had to go and sit at a computer and run payroll and pay the monthly bills and and do that kind of stuff. It was like, this is torture. I'd rather be waterboarded than have to do this. This is miserable.
But trial by fire though is always the it really, especially being creatives. I think it helps inspire that creative side though. Like the more pains and stakes that you have to put yourself through, it really has to open yourself up for the creative. I think the more that you do on the stuff that you dislike, the better it is to express creatively. And certainly by the way that both of you guys have, what both of you have created, you can definitely see all that hard work, those pains, and creating great whiskeys. 'Cause I've tried just about every single one of David's, and Dixon, the stuff that you've made is fantastic. So I think that, sometimes you got to go through those trials.
I think that's fair. I guess the whole point of all this, I agree with that to a certain extent. It certainly, when you have to, like, I don't know, like do the shit, it makes the fun stuff better, I guess. I mean, but, we get to do cool stuff, but I hope everybody at some point gets to pursue something they're passionate about.
Yeah.
And, but it is oftentimes funny that because you're, when people put you in a place where you just, you just don't see yourself there. Like,
Right.
no, like
perception,
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I have no idea. We may need to scrap this episode. I'm
No,
not sure
I think
that
this is
didn't
great.
Just sound
And
like
I
a
think-
huge asshole the whole time.
I think that people
I kind of don't like myself right now after this episode.
I think this is great. Another example of just reality and transparency is your Instagram, with your children. You had a video recently, maybe yesterday, on the way to school and singing, your kids really getting into it. It shows that you are a real person. It shows that, because some people have that perception. They buy a bottle of badass bourbon that's got your name on the front of it, and they see you on Instagram, social media, and they think, man, that dude is, at the top, and he's, knocking it out of the park. And, you do seem kind of superhuman, but that's perception, right? And, I think it's humility that puts it in perspective for you, that you can relate to that when you look at David Beckham or Mark Wahlberg or so I think people, once they experience that humility that they can relate to and your transparency, that makes you even more elite, or better. You're
I don't
a
know.
good human.
Thank you for what. I don't know what you're saying. I'm gonna go kick my own ass right now. It's just where I'm going with this.
I'm gonna kind of sidebar, kind of dovetail into this, but I wanted to share something with you, and I'm gonna toot my own horn for just a second as well. So we were in Louisville, Kentucky. Well, we were all over Kentucky, but we had the honor, I'll say, to do a tasting at Justin's House of Bourbon in Louisville, which was great. To me, it was, it's great to share whiskey in Nebraska, and really comfortable here, kind of in our home territory. But it was almost like being called up to the bigs, to go to Kentucky and share Golden Sheaf bourbon, and different crowd, different set of questions. Of course, there's a lot of tourists that come through there, but anyway, get to my point. I'm talking to folks, and it's kind of like a small little whiskey festival, right? And signing a couple bottles, and in comes somebody I can see across the room, and somebody shouts, "Hey, it's Marky Mark!" And I'm looking, I'm like, that's not Mark Wahlberg. And here comes Mark Carter from Old Carter, and Carter Cellars comes walking right up and just shakes my hand, and wants to try some Golden Sheaf bourbon and rye. And I'm still kind of, it's surreal to me, because I've put Mark Carter up on a pedestal. I've never met him in person until this moment, when he just walks right up and shakes my hand, and just starts chatting and asking questions. And this guy, talk about, at least he sort of gave this air of like he's in his zone, like he just loves talking to people, and he's very social. And anyway, long story short, tries the whiskey, loves it, great surreal moment for me. And then he says, "Hey, we're doing a thing next door, why don't you come on over after your tasting?" So we wrap up, and his club is right next door, his private club. And so we go over, and he's doing kind of a pre-screening of 3 new expressions he's got coming out. And then he gets up, and he starts to talk about, he gives a little speech, and you can tell he just loves this part of it, the social aspect of it. And it was really cool. But anyway, Dixon Deadman comes up, your name. I'm trying to get my phone out and video. I was going to send it to you, but he had a lot of really great things to say about you, and that's the truth, by the way. No, yeah, but it was cool to hear just how everything comes together. But he said some really nice things about you, and being, I think he used the word humble, and he was referencing how he gets to work with really great humans in the industry, and friends with a lot of people. But anyway, even those that are on the pedestal, in my eyes, are talking about you as if you're up on that pedestal. So that's got to be a good feeling. But as you're vacuuming and making beds and listening to books about Elon Musk. Like, that's great perspective. That's great humility, and good for you to recognize that. But, you know how some people, they really settle into that, and they are, the coolest character in their scene, and they're better than everybody else. But, it's good that you can relate to anybody and everybody.
Yeah, so much so I got to go pick up my daughter from school and take her to an orthodontist appointment. So
Get it going.
That's what's on my agenda.
Back to reality, right?
Well, yeah, after I beat myself up. But thank you. No, and just if anybody's listening, Mark Carter is one of the best human beings on the planet.
He is awesome.
I would do absolutely anything for that gentleman.
Well, I asked him if he would join us, and he said absolutely. So we're gonna have to tee him up pretty soon.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome, great talk.
Let's do it. Good talk.
Really good
All right,
talk.
gentlemen.
Yep. Everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. What else? Love, heart, share, talk about, cheers to, all the things. We're on social media. We're on YouTube. We're on 16 audio platforms. Look for Blending Bourbon. Until next time. Cheers, everybody.